Good morning, students. This is the first video of the chapter Civilizing the Natives and Educating the Nation. And in this video, we will try to understand that when the Britishers came, how they changed our culture and how they imposed their own culture in India. We will also discuss here that how they introduced the Western education in India and how they slowly turned Indians towards the Western culture. We will try to understand here that how the Western culture got domination over the Indian culture. And we will also try to understand how the conflict started initially and how finally some important British scholars got victory. And finally, they got opportunity to dominate Western culture and the civilization in India. So let us start the discussion. The tradition of Orientalism. We need to understand the first topic starts with the tradition of Orientalism. So we need to understand here the word is mentioned here, that is Orientalism. So basically orientation means a particular outlook. So at the time some British scholars were there and their outlook was completely different from the upcoming thoughts or ideologies. Particularly important scholars like William Jones. He came to India as a junior judge of Supreme Court, but he was also a great scholar. He was very influenced by different languages and he learned many languages. When he came to India, he was already scholar of Arabic, Persian, English and French. He was knowing all the different languages. He had much interest in all the different languages and literature. So when he came to India, he wanted to discover the ancient Indian heritage. So according to him, the India was having a rich culture. India was known for rich cultural heritage as well as culture. So his prime objective was to dig out the old culture of India, dig out the ancient heritage of India, because he heard or he read that Indian culture, Indian heritage was very great in the ancient time. So he wanted to rediscover it. And he got the patronage of Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings was also Orientalist. He believed that in order to understand India, we need to understand their culture. And if we are going to talk about culture, that language is the most important thing that comes under the word culture. So in order to understand the culture, we need to understand the language also. So that is why, after getting the patronage of Warren Hastings, William Jones came forward and he started discovering the ancient glory and heritage of India. Now, when he started his research, he was not alone. He got help of many other scholars also. Like here, Jones got the support of Colebrooke. Colebrooke was also a very important scholar and he was also an Orientalist. After that, both of them, Jones here and Colebrooke, both of them, they formed Asiatic Society of Bengal. So we need to understand it, both of them formed the Asiatic Society of Bengal. We need to understand it here. It is Jones and Colebrooke. So here Jones and Colebrooke both set up an Asiatic Society of Bengal. What was the prime objective? The prime objective was to find out the ancient culture, ancient history and ancient language. Now, he consulted so many scholars, so many pundits of India, and after that he gathered information about the religious text, Indian old religious text, particularly that was written in Sanskrit. And he was so influenced with Indian culture that he developed many new books that was complete translation of old religious text of India. Like he read many Persian, many Arabic as well as Sanskrit book, and Sanskrit was also translated. Even Bhagavad Gita was also translated. So we need to understand here that William Jones' contribution was great in understanding and rediscovering the ancient glory, ancient history. So why he was doing? Because they shared deep respect for Indian culture. They felt that glorious past declined over time. So scholars like Jones, they believe that the Indian culture was very great, but it lost during the time and it declined over the time. So basic their intention was to rediscover it. And basically, under all these things, there was one single motive to understand Indians. And in order to understand Indians, we need to understand their past so that we can rule them in the future. So with that objective only, they were trying to rediscover the past. They were trying to dig out the past, the ancient glory, or the ancient history, or the heritage. Now, we have to discuss it. Now, Jones and Colebrooke, here it is. Jones and Colebrooke and other scholars write about discovering Indian texts, translating them, and then finding known to others. We need to understand here that here Jones, Colebrooke, and other scholars not only were discovering the Indian text, Indian or old text, but they were also translating it into English and into other languages. And also they were trying to make all the people aware about their findings. So it was not completely hidden. It was a very open thing that was going on by Jones and other scholars. So basically these were the Orientalists. Now, these projects, they believed, would not only help the British to learn from Indian culture, but it also helped Indians to rediscover their old glories. So, two objectives were there. First objective was very clear, to make Indian aware of their past glory, and for that they were rediscovering the Indian heritage and culture. Apart from that, they wanted to make Britishers aware about the culture of India, so that Britishers could rule easily India. We need to understand here also that in the upcoming time, many scholars came, many other scholars came, and they completely conflicted, they completely violated, they completely rejected, in fact rejected the ideology of Orientalism. Because Orientalism focused mainly on the Indian culture and Indian heritage. And it focused mainly on rediscovering the Indian history and culture. But so far as other scholars is concerned, like I'm going to take the name of Lord Bell, Lord Macaulay, they came. And their objective was quite different. They believed that Indian culture was not so great. So it is our objective, it is our Western education that need to be imposed in India. But here we are watching that Orientalism, they initially when came to India, they focused more on discovering Indian culture, so that they could understand Indians better. And so that they could civilize the natives. They could, in fact, find their place in the hearts of natives. Native means original Indians. So with that objective, the Orientalists tried to find out. And when the Orientalists came, particularly William Jones and Colebrooke and other scholars came, they understood that India was known for its heritage, great heritage. So what was the problem? Why it lost? So with that objective, they tried to rediscover. But as I told you, another phase will come in which new scholars will come and they will completely criticize this particular type of, they will completely reject the ideology of Orientalism. Because here it is mainly focused on the revival and importance is given to the Indian culture, Indian history. So according to Orientalism or according to Orientalists, the Indian culture only. Here one image has been displayed. In that particular image we can see easily that Varanasi is there in the center, and on one side Pandit is there, on the other side Munshi is there. And whatever the one person is trying to tell, the other Munshi is writing all the things in the English language. So this is how the Sanskrit was translated to English. And this is how the British came to know about Indian culture, and the Indians also came to know about their lost historical culture. So this is all about discipline. Thank you.